Hello guys, welcome to another video. So today we are going to look at gold, which is something that I think we looked at it in less than a week ago. I think we did check this one out because I see I still have the drawings here, and if you still remember, or if you haven't watched that video, our prediction was basically about this zone here, saying that because of what it has achieved and stuff like that, when the price comes back there's a chance of it holding, but we will get to that. As you can see here, the price is already reacted from it, but we need to check the other time frames as well. Then we move forward and see if we can get a setup here. So let's get started. All right, so we have to start with the highest time frame and make sure that you stick until the end, so that when we're coming up with that nice setup that we can take advantage of, you are able to follow and make sure that you pull the trigger. All right, so let's just 1 second or 5 seconds here on monthly chart, just to remind ourselves of how the structure looks like this side. So remember, the monthly is bouncing from, that's the what we said even the last time, that the monthly has touched the resistance, which is a very strong resistance, that if you remember, it pushed the price all the way down, breaking all the areas of support that were formed there. So that's a very strong area of resistance. And now when the price touched there, it quickly reacted and it formed this, which looked like a bearish engulfing, which is basically when a bearish candlestick swallows the previous candlestick, the body of the previous candlestick. That's why you're saying it has engulfed it. And that basically means that the bears or the sellers are very aggressive here, which means they have a potential of maybe in the next coming weeks or months they can still drop to the downside. I'm not saying that you should just open your M15 chart or M5 or H1 and start selling. No, we're just saying in the next coming months or weeks this price is most likely to drop, right? But it will all depend on what you are seeing on the time frames that will be executing on, whether you have a trade or whether you have a setup that you can execute or not. But in terms of the long-term run, we do have a lot of space to move, at least there. Like, it's not gonna be easy for the price to break and create all-time high or the new high. It's gonna be very difficult for it to pass here. But we just say, based on what we are seeing here, it's possible, but based on what we are seeing currently, there's more space to go to the downside than it is to go to the upside. Now let's check what we have on our weekly chart. Right, on the weekly chart we did have a bullish trend where you could put a bullish trend line there, and remember we had talked about this one here, saying that that's the one that's gonna hold the price. And like, remember, I showed you in the previous video, and it did hold the price, and the next support is basically this one here that you're just bouncing from currently. So basically the price came from the resistance and then it came to the support. But now when you look at what you're currently having here, you can just basically see that this guy here is now your nearest resistance, because of what it pushed the price down and it broke this trend line. That's how it became a zone. And now we can safely say that we have our support here that the price is bouncing from, we have our resistance there, and basically the price is just bouncing between the two. The bulls are not fully in control because their trend line is broken, but the bears at the same time, they are not fully in control because they haven't removed the support. So there is the gap for you to try and maybe sell and buy in between the two. And now that we're saying the price is bouncing from the support, is touching the support, which means on this time frame we do have some space to actually go up. But you also need to keep in mind that on monthly we're saying there's more room to go to the downside. The same way I said to you that just because your monthly is saying there's more space to go to the downside does not mean I can open weekly and then start pulling the trigger, because when I look at the weekly now, it doesn't really allow me to basically have a sell trade. And again, you can put your resistance here. If you put it there, that's fine. It means you've got the support here and you've got the resistance there. So you're just looking at taking trades between those two. And again, you need to keep in mind that the bulls formed this, which is a bullish engulfing, which means the bulls are becoming aggressive at their area of support, and it actually did push towards the next resistance. So now it's only a matter of saying, are the bears gonna continue breaking the support, showing us that they are fully in control? Then we just keep on selling the pullbacks, meaning we'll be trading in the direction of this monthly. But it all has to be Now it's just that we are at the floor. It's not going to be easy for us to pass this, but we are there at the resistance and we've got more pressure to the downside, even though the bulls are trying there with their bullish pin bar. But the fact that the next resistance is just close by and we touched it, it means that they can still lose and continue dropping to the downside, unless if they show them some strength and break that, then you can give them a chance to at least this resistance, which is the one that changed the structure by breaking to the downside. Let's check what we have on monthly. So basically this is what I teach in my mentorship. I go into details all these concepts so that you understand them and you're able to apply them. So now this is what we have on the daily. So on the daily, basically, if you remember in the previous video or the drawings that we had just now, where we had the bearish trend, we had the bearish trend line, we had the resistance here, and both of them are removed, right? So them being removed, we see the price, all of that started by this support. This support here is basically the one that pushed the price up, broke the resistance, broke the bearish trend line, meaning it changed the trend. Now, should the price pull back to this, you will consider taking a buy here. It's a very strong support because of what it did, and remember it is located at that weekly support as well, so it's not just alone. So that's why the price came back into the same support and now it's going up. This one here, if you wanted to buy from this, if you are in the mentorship, you know that this is a horrible zone. When you look at the bigger picture and also when you look at it in context, this is a very bad zone that you can take. So when you had the option and the price was still up there and you're contemplating whether you should take it from here or this one, when you compare the two, this is the one that scores, maybe it takes 95%, and this one is just left with 5%, so you couldn't take it from up there. And you can see the price broke that and then it went down. So now that you are holding your buy trades, if you get in buy trades, you are basically targeting this guy, right? You are targeting that guy because the moment you try and look past that, this is something that, even though it may look like it didn't do much, but remember it pushed down and it broke this support there that we said it was not really tradable, but it's a valid one, but not tradable, and it was removed by this guy. So this is why on your daily, this is the closest support, this is the closest resistance. So when you're taking those trades, you're basically targeting this, just in case they continue the bears breaking the big support there. But we just need to make sure that when you're taking your trades, you know where you're going to exit. You're not going to take a trade and just be in it for the sake of being in a trade. You need to say, on this time frame, if I'm holding a buy, I need to be careful there, put my take profits there, or maybe I can just leave one trade running, unless if just in case the price goes to that weekly resistance that we had said that is the one that did all of this, the one that broke the structure, just in case the price decides to go there. But if you only have one trade, make sure that your eyes are here. You're just planning to exit there, because remember, we are touching the support, yes, but the fact that the weekly resistance was also somewhere there and we touched it, we can still say, okay, but this one was invalidated, we can still continue dropping. So for that reason, it's very important for you to be able to locate your nearest key structures. Now let's check the H4. So this is what we have on the H4. This is the structure on the H4, and when we just check, let's see, this is the H4, and the last time the H4, or just before the previous trend, when we were bullish, we could put when we are bearish, we could put a bearish trend line there, and all of that changed once this support was formed, because this is the support that pushed up and took out the resistance and it took out the trend line. So that's why it's the same structure as what we saw on the daily, to say that this support here is located inside that daily one, it's located inside the weekly one. It's a very strong one because of what it did. It started this bullish trend here that lasted for a few days, you see. So that's why it was a very strong support for you to search for your buy trades there. So now it means on this time frame, if you manage to get those trades, your eyes are here, which is still at the same daily resistance that I said you need to be careful, because here on H4, that area there at the top is actually the one that pushed the price to the other side. So you can mark it maybe here, it's up to you, or you can mark it there, that's fine, but anywhere around there. So these are the guys that started this whole thing, pushing the price strongly to the downside, breaking all these areas of support, breaking the bullish trend line. So when you're getting those buy trades, keeping in mind that they cannot be long-term trades when the monthly says in the next coming weeks or so we have got more space to push to the downside. So everything that you're taking to the upside, it's not for long term. You can hold for a day, you can hold for a couple of weeks, couple of hours, but it cannot be a long term, basically. So even on weekly, remember, we cannot look past that resistance that changed the structure. So it's the one that where there's a lot of selling force from there. So if the price happens to go there, you can look for selling trades because of what that guy did. And remember, we changed the trend immediately. Those structures there at the top were formed. So should the price get there, if you got your buy trades from this nice support that changed to bullish, you need to understand that you are buying from this. Where's the next opposing structure? Where's the next resistance? Where's the next bearish trend line? Then once that is hit, you are out, because here the bulls here, they still have some space to go up there. So this is where that's their target for now, for short term. That's their target, right? So you can try and maybe put a bullish trend line there. Maybe you'll be trying to get some trades with confirmation until the price gets there, because I'm saying currently that's the target. Unless if the price moves down, breaks this or breaks the support, then all of that would change to say that the bulls that we thought they were going to push up to at least the next resistance, they failed. The best defeated them along the way. So for that, we need to shift our focus. But until that happens, these guys have a chance to go until there. Now let's check the H1. What do we have on the H1? On the H1, this is what we have. We were moving to the downside. We were bearish. We had our resistance there. We had our resistance there. Both of them were removed, and they were removed by this support. This, I think, from this support around there, that's where we pushed up, broke both of them, and we came back to around the same support. We failed to break to the downside. Then we continued going up with the bullish trend. Currently, the bullish trend line, you can put it somewhere there and say your H1 is bullish. And it means if you want to take your buy trade on H1, you want to add another buy trade, you'll be there saying that should the price touch this, get some confirmation, we're going up TP1, but the main target is that H4 daily zone. We have another H1 daily, resistance there, because look at it, it's very strong. Look at what it did. The same thing we saw on daily, the same thing we saw on weekly. So that's the main target. So should you get your buy trade, you need to exit one trade there, but this is your maximum take profit, because once you're going to look past that, trying to push the price even more higher on your sort of taking a long-term trade, that might not work, simply because of what the bigger time frames are still saying there's some force to push to the downside. So that's why you need to make sure that you're taking your trades, you are targeting the next opposing structure. So if let's say it happens that the price comes to this support here, but then it doesn't respect it, it doesn't give you any confirmation, but rather you start to see structures like this, that's when maybe you can try and change your focus. But for now, it's very much possible that if it comes here, it can give you confirmation and continue pushing up to at least here as your TP1, and this is where your maximum, where you're going to exit all your trades. So that's what you can look for. For short term, we do have a potential to go at least there, but for long term, if you still remember, it says we can still have some more space to go to the downside. All right, guys, that's all that you can expect from gold. So if it happens that it gives you a chance, don't hesitate. Whether a short-term or a long-term trade, do not hesitate. So that's the structure I wanted to share with you guys. And if you like this style of trading and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Or if you need more lessons on this, you can just text me on WhatsApp or Telegram. But otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.